Okay, so hey there guys. So today's video is going to be my much awaited Huda Beauty new nude palette review. I decided to review this palette today. It's probably not much awaited, and I thought this would be a quick video before I go see my friend for a drink. So I figured I would film this while I'm still waiting for her to get out of work. It did take me like an hour or so to get ready, but I'm finally ready to sit down and film this video. I hope that's not lipstick down here. I think it looks fine. So anyway, yeah, I have a mirror right here. Yeah, it looks fine. So anyway, I don't have the outer packaging for this, but this is the Huda Beauty new nude eyeshadow palette. Now, before I get into my review of this, and before I say that I didn't spend my own money on this, it's because I didn't. I did receive this from Chip when we did do our makeup swap. You guys know how I feel about Huda Beauty, that I do not support the brand because of the whole Beauty Bakery controversy, and also I have found that she has been a very shady owner in the past, and there's just like things that she's done that kind of just rub me the wrong way. The whole Huda Beauty thing, that she didn't acknowledge that. Like, even Jeffree Star doesn't support her anymore, which I'm not a supporter of Jeffree Star, but meanwhile, I actually whipped out one of his lipsticks today to wear it because I thought it looked really pretty with what I was wearing. So I'm kind of doing like a review on this palette and giving you my honest thoughts and kind of wearing makeup that I don't support, but I still have it in my collection. So I don't really know like what to call what I'm wearing, but anyway, I am wearing this palette today, and I would like to share my thoughts with you guys, what I think about this palette. I think that this is a good palette to review because I wanted you guys to know whether or not this palette is worth it. Because this palette, I'm pretty sure, retails for $60 on the Sephora website. I believe you can only find Huda Beauty at Sephora, and I believe on hudabeauty.com. If she has a website, I'm pretty sure that she does. And this palette retails for $65, so it's not exactly a cheap palette. It does have the upgraded packaging. It doesn't have that like glass see-through packaging, so just like let's go through the packaging real quick. So as you guys can see, it has new nude in big letters, and then it says Huda Beauty with, I believe this is Huda on the front, and then on the back it says all the ingredients, the claims, and the finishes of all the eyeshadows. So it says the new nude eyeshadow palette, high pigmentation, easy to blend, talc free. So it claims that it's talc free. It says 18 eyeshadows in 5 ready to layer textures, 10 buttery mattes, 4 multi-reflective shadows, 2 pressed glitters, 1 pressed pearl, and 1 concealer base. Prep your lids with the concealer base. Build your look with mattes and shimmers. Blend the multi-reflective shadows into your mattes for a diffused light. Apply over base or lids or for a subtle pearlescent glow. Use your fingers, a sponge brush, or setting spray for maximum iridescent shine. Add the glitters with a firm, dense brush for an extra pop. So I usually don't do any of that, but I will tell you guys how I apply the eyeshadows. I did do a get ready with me with this eyeshadow and a first impressions. So I'll link that below if you guys are interested on what my thoughts were when I first used the palette. Do I have enough blush on? I didn't really want to wear too much blush today anyway. I want it to be like a really subtle pink. I just feel like it's not enough pink, but whatever. So anyway, let's dive into the palette. So this is what the palette looks like when you open it up. And it comes with a really big mirror, and I actually have been using this mirror since I've been doing my makeup in my room now, and I have better lighting at my desk. I do need a pretty big mirror to try and do my makeup now, because all my makeup is located in my room now, and it's a lot easier for me to use this mirror because this mirror, like, it's not a heavy palette, which is great. And also, this mirror is huge to do your makeup in, so like you can see your full face, and I think it does come with a great mirror, so I will give her props for that. The only thing is that it doesn't fold over, which I really do prefer when the mirrors fold over, because I feel like it's easier to hold the palette. But again, since the palette isn't that heavy, it's not really a big deal. I just put it on my desk anyway. I don't really have to hold it. Okay, so let's go through the shades. So we have the first row. We have Bare, Crave, Play, Fantasy, Love Bite, and Spanked. Then we have Lace, Daydream, Tickle, Excite, Infatuated, and Kinky. And then we have Concealed, which is the concealer base, Secret, Tease, Raw, Charmed, and Teddy. Now before we go through all of the shades, I just want to tell you guys I pretty much have used every single shade in this palette. That's why I'm giving you guys my review. I pretty much have tested out all of them so I can tell you guys what I think about the palette. This is actually the second day in a row that I'm wearing this palette because yesterday I wore like pretty much the same mattes in my crease and I just wore a different lid shade, and today I'm wearing one of the purpley shades. So we're going to go through each shade. I think we're just going to swatch all the mattes first and then we're going to swatch all the glittery shades. So I'm going to start off with Bare, and this one is basically a brow bone shade that is a really beautiful brow bone highlight. So I like that there's a pretty basic brow bone highlight in the palette. I really do prefer when palettes have a brow bone highlight in them because then I don't have to go into my collection and grab, you know, a single shadow or anything. I can just grab for whatever's in the palette. So I do like this eyeshadow, and it's what I'm wearing on my brow bone right now. So it's a pretty simple, easy brow bone highlight. Then we have the shade Play, and this one is, and that's the second matte in the first row. This is like more of a peachy tone color, and it's a really great peachy transition shade. These are some of my favorite kind of shades to use as transition shades. So I usually always use this one as a transition shade when I go like a little bit more neutral with the palette. And the reason why it's called New Nude is because it's kind of a amped up version of a nude palette. Like, it's nudes mixed with beautiful glittery shades. And I think that the concept is really, really cool. I just wish another brand had done it because I feel like if any other brand had done it, I probably would have went out and purchased it myself. So the next matte in the row, we have Love Bite. And this one is very pigmented. And this is actually a very pigmented purple shade. And purple shades are very hard to do. That's 3 swipes of it. It does look a bit patchy when you swatch it. And honestly, these eyeshadows don't swatch the best. I'm just going to tell you guys that right now. But on the eyes, this performs really beautifully. I'm wearing it on my outer corners today. And it's a really beautiful pigmented purpley color. And what I like about these mattes is that none of them blend into each other. None of them are muddy. They all blend really beautifully. If I decide to use like a lighter purple or a lighter pink in my crease, it's always going to show up, which I really can appreciate about this palette. So I really do love that about this palette, actually. And then the last matte in that row is called Spanked, and this one is the matte pink. There is another matte pink in the palette. I'm trying to do at least 3 swipes so you guys can at least see what it looks like. Again, they don't swatch like the greatest, but this is a beautiful crease color. It's like a mauvey pink, and I'm wearing that one in my crease today. And I find that these mattes just apply so easily. You don't have to spend too long blending them out. Basically, you go 1, 2, 3, and you throw it in your crease, and it's basically already applied in your crease. That's why I really have been enjoying this palette. So that one is Spanked. Then we have the second row of mattes. The first one is called Lace. This one's really pigmented when you swatch it, and it's really, really smooth. It's a lot smoother than the other two, and this one is called Lace. It's like a lavender purple. And this one I actually used on my lower lash line today, and that's the only color I used on my lower lash line. I don't really use this that much as a... I didn't really get that much sleep last night, so sorry if I like stutter or if I stumble on my words or anything, but I really didn't get any sleep last night. I just was not... my body was not having it. My body did not want to fall asleep last night. But anyway, this one is a really beautiful matte as well. It's a really beautiful lavender pink if you're into purples. This palette has some really beautiful purples in it. Then we have the shade Tickle, and this one is, I'm not showing it on my finger, I'm so sorry, but I feel like the hand swatches are so much more helpful to actually see what it looks like. And again, this one's a lot more smoother than Love Bite and Spanked. Those two have a little bit more of a rougher texture because they're a little bit more pigmented. But this one is also a beautiful, smooth crease shade as well, or light pink shade. And that one I used as a transition shade today before I put Spanked on. and that one is also a stunning crease shade as well. And that's it for the mattes in that row. Now we're going to do, so we did these mattes here, Bare, Play, Love Bite, and Spanked, and then we did Lace and Tickle, and now we're going to do the last row, and these are pretty much all, these are pretty much all the neutral browns in the palette. So we have the shade Secrets, and this one is a really, really beautiful, just matte, everyday brown shade, and this one again swatches really, really smoothly. And it's a really pretty basic matte crease shade, and pretty much every single palette needs a matte crease shade, so a brown matte crease shade. Then we have the shade Tease, which is darker than Love Bite, and it's a little bit more cool toned. It is more of a browner purple, and that one is right there. Again, that one swatches a lot more smoothly and feels a lot smoother. That's also a beautiful color. I'm wearing that in my crease as my defining shade today, like right here. And you would think that this shade would blend into the pink one because I'm wearing this as my crease shade and then I put that as my defining shade. And it stands out on its own as a regular purple shade. It doesn't blend or muddy up into the pink shade. So that's why I can really appreciate that shade as well. Then we have the shade Raw, and this one is the only warm-toned dark brown in the palette, and this one is also a really smooth matte shade. And this one is, that's basically only one swipe. I could do one more. And that one is a really beautiful defining brown, and I usually use that either as an outer corner shade or as a defining shade, but usually as a defining shade, as an outer corner shade I mean, and it's a really beautiful matte. And then the last one we have is called Teddy, and this one is a mid-tone brown. And this one is also a really beautiful crease shade. So these matte brown shades I pretty much only use with like the gold shade in the palette because the rest of the shades are very like pink and purple. So a lot of the purple and pink matte shades work with those obviously. So this one is called Teddy. And this one is a really beautiful medium-toned brown shade. So that's pretty much all of the mattes. So I'll show you guys those mattes real quick. So we have Bare, Play, Love Bite, Spanked, and Lace. Then we have Tickle, Secrets, Tease, Raw, and Teddy. So now I'm just going to swatch the concealed shade for you guys. I actually haven't used this at all. It's pretty much the only thing I haven't used in the palette, and it seems to be pretty dry, honestly. Maybe I should use it as a concealer base, but I don't really use concealer bases for my eyeshadow. I always use an eyeshadow primer, just because I don't find that concealers make my eyeshadow last as long. So I'm going to wipe off the matte shades now since we swatched all of those, and I don't want them sitting on my hand too long to form any kind of stain. Because like I said, I am going out at some point. I guess she'll probably be done at 6. She actually did text me a little bit ago and told me that she had another haircut appointment at 5 because she is a hairdresser. I don't even know what to call them. Okay, so now we're going to start with the, what are they called? 4 multi-reflective shadows, which are like these 4 shades. So we have Crave, Fantasy, Daydream, and Infatuated. Daydream and Charmed, I mean, for the multi-reflective ones. And then these 2 are the pressed glitters, and then we have 1 pressed pearl, which I don't understand why they only included 1 pressed pearl. It would have been nice they would have included 2, but it's okay. It goes with all the colors in the palette. So we're going to start off with Crave. And this one is a stunning gold, pink, green shade. And people were saying that this palette was falsely. This palette was falsely advertised on the website and also on like the pictures of Sephora because the shades didn't really match up to what they looked like in the palette, but I think that they do. Like, I don't really see too much of a difference. I think they all pretty much look the same, but they pretty much, people thought that it was going to be like this marbleized kind of thing, marbleized kind of like pattern or effect on your eyes, and it's not. It's just a pressed multi-reflective shade, but I think that they're stunning still. So this one is Crave, and this one is a gorgeous gold, green, pink kind of shade, and it is so beautiful. This one I wear, this is probably my most worn shimmery shade in the palette because I love wearing it on my lid, or I love wearing it on my inner corners. Like, this is definitely a stunning inner corner shade. So that's the first one, and it's so pretty. This next one is called Fantasy, and this one's like a stunning pinky purple silvery kind of shade. This one I've also worn quite a few times, and it's more of like a burgundy kind of purple glittery shade, and that's what it looks like. It's really, really beautiful. This one I wish would have been a little bit more multi-reflective, but it's kind of not. It's not as reflective as Crave, but it's still a really stunning pressed glitter, or pressed multi-dimensional shade. It really is beautiful, and has a little bit of gold in there too. The next one we have is Daydream, and this is the one that I'm wearing all over my lid today. And this one is more of like a lilac-y. I'm going to close my browser because I don't need Sephora open anymore. My computer's just running hot for some reason. And this one is a stunning like purpley green, like white kind of color. And this one I love wearing on my lid as well. And as you guys can see, they kind of have a different effect on the eyes. You like have to put these on your eyes because they kind of change color when you put them on the eyes, and they really are so beautiful. So that's what it looks like on my eyes, and it's kind of like a purpley red kind of shade, and it really is beautiful. So that one is Daydream. It's like a purpley pink kind of shade, and it's really stunning. And then the last one is probably my favorite besides Crave, and this one is called Charmed, and this one is like a purpley brown gold kind of shade, and it reflects gorgeous. It looks so much better on the lid, honestly, than on the hand. So that one is Charmed, and that one, as you can see, it does reflect a little bit of purple, but when you put it on your lid, it reflects more browny purple than it does in the pan, and it's like so multi-dimensional. It looks so beautiful on the eyes. And I actually wore this one last night to work, because like I said, I did wear this palette to work last night, and it looked so stunning. I love this shade. So that one is Charmed. So those are the 4 multi-dimensional shades. And now I'm going to swatch the 3 remaining shades, which are these 3 shades right here. This is Excite, Infatuated, and Kinky. Okay, so my friend just texted me. Give me 1 second. So the next one is one of the pressed glitters. And this one is called Infatuated, and this one, it's not going to swatch as well because it's a pressed glitter, but as you guys can see, there's a little bit of a swatch, and it's a stunning like red reflective glitter. So my friend like kind of wants me to go over her house and just pick up food. Because I'm not just gonna wear this out to go to her house. I might just change into like my Beauty and the Beast sweatshirt, which is what I was thinking about wearing today anyway. So that's the pressed glitter. Again, you're not really gonna see it well, like pretty well swatched because, oh my god, why does everybody have to text me when I'm doing something? I even know what this is. This is like more spam. So anyway, that one is one of the pressed glitters. And then the other one, did I swatch Infatuated or Excite? I'm pretty sure I swatched Infatuated. No, Excite. So Excite is like a red pressed glitter, and then Infatuated is like a more pinky tone one. So as you guys can see, this palette has like a very like mauve-y kind of vibe, mauve-y, pinky, purple kind of vibe to it. And these glitter toppers, I don't use these by themselves because they don't really show up very well. I use these, excuse me, I use these as toppers over the multi-reflective shadows, and they look really, really stunning. I actually, the first shade I actually tested out on this palette was the shade Excite. And I used that on my lid when I tested out the Urban Decay Naked Cherry palette, and I put this on as like a lid topper. And it was really, really beautiful. So like the way that I apply them is I usually use a glitter glue over the charms or whatever glitter or shadow that I have on, and then I'll put that on top, because if you don't use a glitter primer or some kind of glitter glue, it won't stick to your lid and it'll like fall out all over, or it just won't show up. So those are the two pressed glitters. And then the one pressed pearl eye shade or whatever is called Kinky. And this one's just a, you know, regular shimmery kind of color, like a burgundy pink. And it's a really beautiful lid shade as well. I've only used this one once on my lid because every time I want to use this palette, I usually want to use these multi-reflective shadows. But this one's really pretty too. You could do a look with this one and keep it pretty simple and just use, you know, some of the matte browns and stuff. But there are so many options that you could do with this palette. So those are the 7 shades. So we have Crave, Fantasy, Daydream, and Charmed. And then we have Excite, Infatuated, and Kinky, which again, the pressed glitters aren't going to swatch as well because they are pressed glitters. They don't swatch very well. You have to apply them to the eyes because glitters, you know, are never going to swatch as well as other eyeshadows. So that's pretty much it. I will go through my look that I'm wearing, and then I will tell you guys my initial thoughts about the palette, but I think you guys pretty much know already. So I'm wearing Tickle in the Crease as my transition shade, then I'm wearing Spanked as my crease shade, then I'm wearing Tease as my defining shade, and then I put Love Bite in my outer corners, and then I put Daydream on my lid, and then I put Bare on my brow bone, and then I just popped on a little bit of Makeup Geek's Black Light and I believe Daydreamer. So I kind of wanted to tie in the Daydream theme and put on the Foiled Eyeshadow by Makeup Geek on my inner corners, and also a little bit of Makeup Geek's Black Light, which is the dual chrome one. And then I just smudged the shade Lace underneath my eyes from the palette, and that's pretty much it. And then I just lined it with my Lancome eyeliner, and that's pretty much it, you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Oh, my initial thoughts. Duh. I actually really, really, really enjoy this palette. I think that every single shade is pretty much spot on, and it even though a lot of people were saying, oh, these are so patchy, or some people like didn't like it at all, like they had really high expectations of it, I'm like, this is pretty good quality, honestly. Like, for someone that doesn't really support the brand, I actually thought that this was a pretty good palette. I don't think it's worth $65 though. I think I would only pay like $40 or $50 for this, like the standard price for most high-end brands, instead of $65. I don't know where they get off charging $65. But there are 18 shades in this palette, so you are getting a lot of shades. I don't know exactly how much product you're getting in here. It says, I am so hungry. Sorry if my stomach is growling. Again, I don't have the outer packaging. I'm sorry, guys. I think I just got rid of it to fit in my bathroom a little bit better when I stored it in my bathroom. But yeah, you are getting 18 shades. Like I said, you're getting 10 mattes, 4 multi-reflective shadows, 2 pressed glitters, 1 pressed pearl, and 1 concealer base. So minus the concealer base, you're getting 17 eyeshadows. So determine whether or not you're really going to use this. I think this is a really good palette to transition from day to night. I think you can do a lot of neutral looks with this palette by using like these standard crease shades. But again, it's not really supposed to be a neutral palette. It's supposed to be like an amped up, fun version of a neutral palette. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know what you guys think of this palette. Please let me know. Please let me know what you guys think about Huda Beauty in general. Would you guys ever support the brand? Are you like me and you really don't want to support the brand? Again, I was very hesitant to keep this in my collection, but since Chip loves these eyeshadows, I was seriously thinking about exchanging this when I first got it. But after, I was like, I need to try it because she got it for me. And after I tried it, I'm like, wow, this actually is a really great palette. So please like and subscribe. Follow me on all my social media. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And bye, guys.